Hello, radiant beings. It's me, the Iridescent goddess, Faith, and I'm here today with another Tarot Tuesday. Okay, so I love reading cards. I already had the decks mixed up. And before we start pulling our affirmation cards and our tarot cards, let's first open up the space with a little bit of sound. I already saged with some beautiful white sage. It's endangered, so I don't use it often. Remember that. So I burned some of it, and I already sprayed like I always do, so I'm very much open and aware. Let's use some sound and do the same thing. So, the first three cards that flew out of the deck that were from the Oracles of Oddity, 3rd edition, and these are like I guess for affirmations, right? So it came from that deck. We had this card last time, the Improve card. So it's about self-improvement. And then also we have our sacral chakra in reversed state. So it might be a little closed, it might be a little jaded, our passions might not be acknowledged, our desires might be something that's kept inside and not fully expressed. So it might be affecting how we might be putting out our desires, or why we might be stifling our desires, and why some of our manifestations or affirmations might not be coming true, or why they might seem a little bit skewed because our perspective about our desires are skewed. But having said that, the third card is the Crown Chakra card. And the Crown Chakra is upright, and it represents our higher consciousness, our connectivity to other humans. It represents our connection with not just a higher power, but the idea of belief. So it shows a very open and free-flowing state of the crown chakra and the energy there within. So this shows that we might need to improve upon our desires by connecting with the base, by connecting with what really brought us here, what makes us whole, what makes us feel whole. And that's truly why we're sent here, to fulfill our desires in a positive way that affects other people and helps them through their karmic journey as well. You have to remember, all this is about our karmic journey. It's about getting through into the next phase of life, into the next stage, the next checkpoint, the next energy portal, whatever you want to call it. Just getting to that next stage or phase in your life of growth. So the next deck is the Illuminated Tarot, and we have the Two of Spades. And the Two of Spades, for me, is a really good card. I like this card a lot. It's like, to me, it's like Deuces Wild to the nth degree. It shows not just recklessness, but a chosen, exactly, it's the Hangman. Like a chosen path of, not turmoil, but just a chosen path, like a chosen way in your state of being. So whatever it is that, whatever position that you're in, even if you're bound by the ankle upside down in a tree, you're not in a position where you feel uncomfortable. You're not in a state where you feel out of sorts. You feel like you've definitely chosen this state that you're in. And even if it's not a state that you necessarily love, you're making the best out of a bad situation. And you can always do that when you're in a situation. You just have to remind yourself that you have the power to change it just by changing your perspective. So this also shows freedom and peace of discipline when it's upright, freedom from distraction. So you are a little distracted, and you don't have necessarily peace through discipline, but you have self-actualization or self-realization through self-actualization is better to say. So you're actually becoming more of yourself by doing more that about you, in not a selfish way, but just seeing things for what they are and moving forward, not being stuck on the past or the mistakes that you've made. Owning where you are in your life and being grateful that you have the chance to be there. Sometimes there are permanent states of being, permanent things about our lives, or fixtures in our lives that we don't exactly appreciate, nor do we like. This card shows that we have the capacity to see things for what they are and bear through some of the painful situations that we're placed in. And this one is the universe has your back. And I mix up this deck. And it's, I create mindful moments through the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. I am love and miracles are natural. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. That is a great affirmation to hold dear. I am love and miracles are natural. It means that when you call upon a miracle, you know that you're not calling upon something that is impossible. You're calling upon something that is as natural as the sun shining or the rain falling. So it's going to happen whether or not you ask for it. Miracles will come to you. It's just about the will and the energy you're willing to put out into the universe. Now this next card is for the collective dream state that we all have. And we have the number 10. And this shows a group of people coming together in a radiant circle in an iridescent light. It shows people coming together in a sense of community. And not just in a sense of community, but in a sense of collective growth. They're all in a position of not just worship, but in a sense of giving. So they're receiving something, but they're also giving something as well. And they're doing this in a way that shines bright and doesn't take away anything from anyone else. And so a lot of us might be in a state where we might be looking for that sense of community. We might be looking for that sense of friendship. We might be looking for that sense of self in other people. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you need to find what makes you happy. Go to that place wherever it is in this world. And then you'll find the people that are supposed to fit in with you like a puzzle piece, you know? You're not supposed to necessarily make people in your life fit the roles that you need them to. You're supposed to, let things fall away. No matter who or what it is, you have to let them fall away so that you can gain the information that the universe is trying to give you. And by placing certain people in your lives for a day, a week, months, sometimes seasons and sometimes not so many. So that's not a bad thing. But there's still a sense of radiance that comes with that and a sense of purity that comes with that knowing not all relationships last. And the ones that do last for even just more than an hour, more than a day. They hold some place of sacredness because everybody has something to teach you. That's something that I've had to learn in a really hard way, but they have something to teach you in their own way, and you have to remember that. Everybody has something to teach you in their own way. So, we're going to now pull from the white deck. And so, instead of the subconscious, the dream state, which was the moth deck, the golden moth deck, we're going to pull from my white deck, and we're going to pull from the conscious state of all humanity and see how we're all connected right now. Because that's something that I think we all might be a little bit interested in, huh? The energy that all of us are flowing with right now. Yeah. Okay, so we have the card of Temperance reversed. And it's funny because we're right now in the sign of Aquarius. So Temperance, it might look a little bit familiar. Maybe a little bit like the sign that we're in. And it's reversed. So in my book of magic, right? Temperance in reverse has a feeling of extremes, a feeling of excess, a feeling of lack of balance, wastefulness, and a lack of gratitude. So many people, I have actually gone on a news fast, and I kind of suggest that a lot of people do this if they want to have a little bit more of a sense of clarity and a sense of self, especially if you're like a CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, any news outlet. I'm talking Bloomberg, I'm talking the financial, I'm talking everything. Take a news fast. Take a deep breath, all right? Recenter, recalibrate. You're going to realize that all of the outlets are the same. A lot of us are feeding into this information, these stories that are so sensationalized and so out of context from every perspective that we kind of can't have one. We kind of can't gain one. We kind of can't even have an informed opinion about anything because everything is so skewed. In a sense, this is the one thing that I have to say Donald Trump might be like right about, fake news. And the problem with that being reality is that we have a genuine lack of distrust of not just the media and not just the government, but that breeds distrust within our friends, within our families, within people that we've known our whole lives. And then ultimately it breeds distrust within ourselves. We have serious doubt in our own actions. So it can cause people to have wasteful tendencies. It can cause them to have excess and act in extremes of anger, which we have been seeing a lot lately, or acting in extremes of sadness, which we also have been seeing a great occurrence of recently, which has, I think, been triggering a lot of people's underlying hatreds or underlying ideologies that are meant to oppress people. Real talk. Like, not even gonna sugarcoat that shit. So, and that has nothing to do with anybody's political affiliation. That has to do with people's state of mind. And that's what I gotta say. That's my tea. All the shade. All the shade. Remember that when we're in the sign of Aquarius, that we are very fortunate and we have a lot of abundance around us. And we have to remember that. We should be very grateful for the abundance that Aquarius offers us. But right now, we are all being blinded by the light. And not in a good way. Blinded so badly that we can't see the forest for the trees, that we can't see tomorrow for today. We can't see anything. We can't see anything. So it's affecting how we act. It's affecting how we treat one another. And that's the last thing that we should be doing. We shouldn't be hurting one another because we're hurting, but that's what people do. That's what everybody does. So let's ask the ancestors a couple of questions, all right? Today we're going to do the empathetic spread. So we have the cards shuffled. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're set. So, right now, again, the hangman came up again. So, to me, that obviously shows that we are in a state of flux, deciding about what we want. And that's real. That's real. Now, we have the Ten of Swords reversed. And even if the swords show up, like I said before, I don't love the sword suit, but, you know, it's something that I deal with. The Ten of Swords upright is just ultimate despair and ultimate, you know, frustration. It's the suffering, the despair, it's all the sadness. That's what the Ten of Swords on its head, upright, like, definitely means. When it's reversed, it means all the opposite of these things. It means that there's abundance, there's happiness, there's wealth, there's camaraderie on top of what's affecting you. So in your state of being right now, your current state is the Hangman. You're kind of, you know, in a positive state of thrall. You know what I'm saying? Going back and forth with your own mind, going back and forth with your own thoughts and ideas. Should I? Shouldn't I? Could I? Couldn't I? Why didn't I? You know, all of these thoughts are going back and forth in your mind. The 10 on top of that just shows that you do have all the blessings around you to make what you want happen. How you're going to clear some negative energy around you is the Knight of Chalices reversed. And the Night of Chalices on its head means arrivals, invitations, message or new love, and a marriage proposal. So honestly, right now, this can be a state of isolation. It could be turning down certain invitations. It might be having a sense of humility and also having a sense of perspective that not every dollar needs to be made. Not everybody's your friend. That not every situation can necessarily be trusted to the highest degree, and that you do need to be cautious in some situations. So having a cautious sense of self is going to be how you clear some of the energy around you. The next stage is going to be how you protect yourself. And you have how you protect yourself is the Tower. Oh boy. I literally had a dream about the Tower last night, so that's why I'm like, oh goody. So if anybody who reads cards knows that the Tower means some bullshit is about to come all the way down, and it can't even help it. It's like, I'm just here to fuck everything up, but in the best way possible. Like, I don't even, it's like almost like a volcano scorching the earth to remove all the impurities to let life bloom again. That's kind of what the Tower is. And you don't really see it that way because all you see is the damn destruction. I just talked about Goddess Kali, and I'm going to be making a series about all the goddesses and all the gods and stuff that people might give patron to or might give homage to, might do ancestor work to, might do rituals for. I was just talking about the Goddess Kali, and she's come to me in so many different ways or in aspects of my life. And just the symbol of the Tower to me, and for so many people, it represents union between the earth and sky, between the visible and the invisible. Breakdown, tears, painful transformation. So it shows literally you going through a process of renewal and rebirth through pain and through suffering that you actually probably asked for. You probably asked the universe to grant you with a chance to give yourself room to become the person that you want or need yourself to be. That's what the Tower is giving you. And that's how you are going to protect yourself, knowing that you can get through the destruction, and that the destruction is what's going to make you invincible at the end of this whole process, at the end of the day, at the end of the journey, which is what matters, not the destination. This is how you're going to ground yourself, and it's the 6 of Wands. And I'm also going to confer with my book as well, because I love the Wand too, and it has a lot of positive meanings. So you're going to ground yourself through conquest, merit, victory, success, and gain. So that doesn't mean that, you know, you're going to be saying no to everything. It means that you will have room in the obvious, you know, need for like income and money or whatever, but you're going to also be able to make the good decisions that will make you not just profitable, but, you know, that will not keep you emotionally bankrupt. You know, you won't keep withdrawing from your energy. You'll be putting some back in, because you won't be just serving others. You'll be serving your highest good to get you to the next point. So the Six of Wands is also represented by not just the sense of victory, but the sense that victory is possible. And a lot of us have this idea that hope is supposed to be this thing that just feeds you and grows and grows and grows. But like the Hangman, it can make you incredibly blind to what reality is. So when you have the Six of Wands upright, you have to remember that victory comes in many disguises, the same way, happiness can, the same way challenges, hardship, obstacles, and glory does. Everything comes in very masked and invisible ways. So we just have to be conscientious that the universe is here to teach us something, and we don't really know how the message is going to be, laid across. And as people who are in the Christian faith might say, God works in mysterious ways. That's basically it. God works in mysterious ways. So just keep that in your mind, even if you're not Christian, if you're of any, walk of life, if you worship nature, if you worship anything. The universe, spirit, God, all of it, it works in a very mysterious way. We don't necessarily see the path that's always laid out before us, but we know that there's a path. And sometimes you have to forge it yourself, but sometimes the meadow is the path, or is the checkpoint. You get what I'm saying? The spiritual checkpoint that you've just gotten to know that not everything is going to be laid out, and sometimes you don't have to make a clearing in the land to get through. You don't always have to destroy something to get through. You don't always have to have the energy of Kali or the energy of the tower, or destruction to get through, or the volcano to get through. Sometimes you can have the sense of the peaceful land that grows out of the rock. And then, for how we're going to raise our vibrations, is the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles represents satisfaction, joy, wealth, all of that. Now, when it's reversed, obviously, it's going to be a little bit different, alright? It means money and beginnings. So that means that you're going to have to accept the endings that are coming. They come. Endings exist. They come and they find a way into your life. And they don't destroy you. So when you have an ending, a lot of us are facing endings right now. And because it's turned upside down and it's not a beginning, we see it as an ending. That's the only difference. Beginning and endings to me are exactly the same thing. They are exactly the same thing. It's, what did Naomi say to Ruth? Was it pain upon entering, anguish on leaving? We have this sense of pain upon entering life, and this anguish that we cause other people once we leave life. So there's always this sense of duality. They're the same thing. Death, birth, life, darkness, sun, it's all the same. There's no beginning, there is no end. It's all a continuous stream of energy. So that's what you have to remember. It's all a continuous stream of energy, and that's how you're going to raise your vibration. So let's have a little recap of all of our reading today, okay? So, for the Oracles of Oddities affirmations, we got 3 cards that jumped out the deck. We got the State of Improvement again. Even after mixing the deck, we got the State of Improvement one more time. So, the 2 chakras that came out were the Sacral and the Crown. So, they are both working in tandem. As this one is closed or a little bit foggy, maybe a little jaded right now, our passions or our affections might not be exactly reciprocated or acknowledged. Whereas our crown is completely elevated and open, showing us that even if things aren't going the way that we want them to at this moment, there's a greater sense of connectivity that we all have, and we can all connect to realign and repurpose the energy that isn't balanced within itself. We have the 2 of Spades, but it's also represented as the Hangman reversed. showing us that we are in a perpetual state of choosing some situations that we have or some of the obstacles that we face, knowing that we can get through. We're in a state of thrall, but in a state of understanding that a lot of the situations that we face can be succeeded because we have chosen them. Our card from the Universe Has Got My Back deck is I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. So just hold that with yourself today. Even if you don't remember anything else I said, remember that I am love and miracles are natural. Just keep saying that to yourself. I am love and miracles are natural. Miracles are just as natural, as I said before, as the sunrise, the sunset, and the rain falling to the ground. So it's as natural as your breath. It's as natural as your thought and your being. So embody that you are love, you are natural, therefore you are miracles in action. Our state of subconscious, human subconscious, in a connected state is 10. And this is from the Golden Moth deck. So to me, this just shows in my intuitive space that we are connected to each other in so many ways as people, and we are surrounding ourselves, those of us who are choosing to, can surround ourselves with light and around people who see light the same way, if not the same way, but worship it and want to receive it in the same way that we do and honor each other's presence in that same way. It's a difficult thing to do, especially if you feel disrespected by people, if you feel like there isn't space for you to do that in the safe way. But it can be done. It shows that we are all in a subconscious place hoping and praying and wanting that sense of community back. We're wanting that sense of not just self, but all of us being in a place where we can be ourselves. That's what people are missing, and I think that's what a lot of our subconscious is lying on. Why people might be acting negatively towards each other, because that's a very difficult thing to articulate. And for the human conscious state, we got Temperance reverse. And I think that's very telling, as I said before, because we are literally in the season, the age, the state right now of Aquarius. And I love, Aquarian season. My rising sign is Aquarius. Whoop, whoop. And to me, it's very funny that we got Temperance that very much looks like the symbol of Aquarius reversed. To me, that shows that not just being in a sense of extremes or a sense of excess, but it shows a sense of wastefulness and a sense of general distrust that we all have. Not just of the government, not just of, political people, of banks, of, external forces that we really kind of can't control. Like let's say the IRS, for example. We all have to pay taxes, right? We have a general distrust of the people that we love most. And that can breed not just resentment within them, but we can start to not trust ourselves. And that's very dangerous. So we have to really address what's going on there. Why are we having this big feeling of I can't trust other people? That will make us very cold and callous. And it, depletes the warmth we have towards others, which can increase negative thought patterns within ourselves. And we really don't need that. We're all working towards higher vibrations, right? So let's get to this reading that the ancestors got so much to say about, right? So, the first card we have, again, is the Hangman. But this time, it's, he's in the hanged position. Him being in that position shows that it's not just you going back and forth with yourself, as this card has come again. It just shows that you are in the feedback, that negative feedback of doubt. It's playing in your mind unnecessarily. If we constantly have doubt within ourselves and that negative feedback, we're not going to be able to accomplish the things that the universe is placing before us and that we're asking for. We're not going to be able to receive our blessings, to be honest with you. So, just because we're in that state doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Sometimes you can be in a state of indecisiveness. It's okay. But on top of that, to quell your indecisiveness, if this helps at all, This should help you a little bit. It's the Ten of Swords reverse, and this shows a state of not being in despair, of being in a place of, you know, elation, of being exalted, of being praised, not just, you know, your hubris or your pride, not your ego, and your accomplishments and your true self being seen. That's what's being acknowledged right here. So that's actually kind of beautiful. It sometimes comes through hardship and pain, which we're getting to. We have the Night of Chalices, and this shows a person or a state that is very, like I said, callous, very cold, very calculating. And that's exactly what we need to get to. This aspect shows us that this is how we're going to clear our energy, that we have to maintain a sense of calculated professionalism and have a sense of, you know, we're going to have moments of self-realization to get to our self-actualization, to become the person that the universe and that spirit and ancestor are charging us to be, basically. He's got some duty on his hands, all right? Like, not duty, like, you know, boo-boo. I mean, as in, like, there's a lot of obligation, a lot of responsibility. So that's why it takes a more calculated, logical perspective to get through that, and that's how you can clear your energy. Stay calculating and perceptive. So, a lot of people are going to be like, how is this going to protect me, Faith? The Tower. How on earth can the Tower card protect me? You crazy bitch. How? So, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, God, this energy, right? So, the Tower is usually like, you know, the towers, like, of London, you know, all the bridges come crumbling down. Just London Bridge is falling down. But the Tower really does represent a state of really crumbling all of the structures down to the foundations. It's really about smoldering ashes and rebirth. It's really about allowing things to fall apart in order to be put back together. You have to let some things fall completely apart and completely away from you in order for you to have the strength, to have the clarity and the space to rebuild yourself. If the universe is giving you that opportunity, take it. Take it. Take that shit. Take it. So, how to ground yourself, lastly, right, is going to be the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands, like I said before, is not just a state of generosity and not just a state of supporting. It's not just a state of victory. It's not just a state of, you know, gain. It's not just a state of receiving. It's a state of having put in a certain amount of energy and having a certain amount of, God, I'm going to say it, but faith. It's really about having that sense of self, that sense of self and dedication to the self in order to gain what you were fighting for. Victory can sometimes be very misleading, like a lot of things, because you don't really know how you won until sometimes a very long time later. So right now you might be winning and you don't even know it. Just keep that in mind. And last thing, how to raise your vibrational energy, we have the Ace of Pentacles. And to me, this shows that, you know, it's not just going to be money and success and beginnings that you're facing. You're facing endings. You're facing things that are coming to a close, things that are coming to an ending, things that are a little bit abrupt and, like, kind of seize and shake you like a rag doll. And it's kind of frustrating and a little bit jarring. You have to accept that these things are going to happen, that you are love and miracles are natural. It's very, you know, complex coming into adulthood and realizing that things are not at all what anybody told you that they were going to be. But that's okay. You will survive and you will get through. It could honestly be worse. So, on that note, just take a deep breath. Alright, so I really hope you liked that reading. If you did like the reading, you know what to do. Give this video a thumbs up, alright? Hit up the description box below because I have a bunch of stuff down there. A lot of goodies for you guys, so please check it out. Give the subscription button a kiss. And remember, shine from every angle, like a diamond, like me, like you, as well. One love.